Probably Flacco, because it's the ultimate team sport. You want to win a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl. He was twice the highest paid player in all of football. And I love the fact, Dan, when you think about true franchise quarterbacks, guys who were once paid more than anyone else in the sport, for him to be willing to humble himself and be a backup for years and just keep playing, keep going. How many guys do that? Could you imagine Peyton Manning holding a clipboard once his starting days ended? It really is refreshing to see a guy who loves the sport so much. He hangs around, he gets his chance. And off of Paulie's point about the Pro Bowl, my favorite fact about the current Cleveland Browns roster at quarterback, they have 6 guys and 1 Pro Bowler, Tyler Huntley. The other 5, no Pro Bowls.
Mike's latest novel, Big Shield, debuts today on Amazon, a tale of gambling, the mob, and pro football. But for legal reasons, it's definitely not about the NFL.
I can't stop you. You know, there's a franchise in Vegas. There's a franchise in Baltimore. There's a franchise in Minnesota. I can't stop the reader from envisioning the colors and the logos and the name. But for legal reasons, I just go with Vegas, Baltimore, Minnesota. They can't copyright city and state names.
Do you expect to hear from the NFL?
No, I think they'll ignore the book. I think it will bother them enough that they'll ignore it, that'll be the strategy. However, they should like it because, Dan, it's a cautionary tale about what can happen with inside information. There's so much inside information out there. Who's really injured? Who's not? What's the game plan? Who's going to get the ball? All sorts of things before games and during games. I know they're concerned about guys on the sidelines giving signals to people who would lock in micro bets for run or pass. Coincidentally, that's what happens in this book. That's the premise. A backup quarterback for the Vegas franchise of a fictional pro football league gets tied in with a mobster, and it all kind of goes from there, where this relationship has ups and downs and twists and turns, and 400 pages later, you get a resolution.
It's called Big Shield. Now, the NFL is called The Shield, Mike.
Well, that's right. And I loosely refer to the NFL as Big Shield. So it's all part of the game. Look, I want that. Did you see the Billy Joel documentary? The best thing that ever happened to him was the Catholic Church banning Only the Good Die Young. That he sent them a note saying, will you please ban my other songs? When people feel like they're not supposed to read or watch or listen to something, it makes them want it even more.
Do you want the NFL to sue you?
Oh, they won't sue me. No, Dan, they won't sue me because nothing in here infringes on any of their copyrights. And it's a pure work of fiction. There's nothing in there that libels anyone. All the characters are made up. The whole thing is completely made up. The only issue would be copyrights. I don't use NFL. I don't use team names. I'm safe there. Now, if they would want to sue me, if it would help book sales, then, you know, I would deal with that. But they won't. They'll ignore it. Like, remember the film Concussion? They were scared to death of that movie, and their strategy was to ignore it, and they did, and it worked. It didn't really move the needle.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around this whole smelling salts. We know it's supposed to mask a concussion, right? Why are they allowing you to still bring in something that it's bring your own smelling salts, but it's meant to mask concussions? Shouldn't you make that illegal so we can detect if you have a concussion?
This is one of the realities of collective bargaining. And collective bargaining can be very good, but it also can become ridiculous because if the league were to go to the players and say, we want a complete and total ban on smelling salts, the players would be inclined to say, what's in it for us? If you want the ban, we're going to say we don't. So we can get something from you to give you what you want. And it works both ways. Look, marijuana, legal in most of the states now where the NFL does business. Why don't we just get rid of it? Well, it's a collective bargaining issue. So what's in it for us? This is the NFL. What's in it for us if we agree to get rid of it? So it's ludicrous. When the union sent out to the players, oh, hey, you can still bring your own. It's like, wait a minute. Is this really a good idea? Should they be having these things around? Should they be using these things? Yeah, the whole thing's ridiculous. And the sooner those things are off the sideline, the better off everyone will be.
This garnered a lot of headlines, but we know why. It's Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel saying that Basically, there's entertainers, and then he's a competitor, and people thought he's referencing Shedeur Sanders. Did you hear it that way, that he was referencing people in the media and not Shedeur Sanders?
Well, I think it's reasonable to look at those comments and consider the context and come to the conclusion that he was making a comment about Shedeur Sanders. I think that's not an unreasonable reaction. And that's what happens when you put your words out there into the public space for consumption. People are going to come to whatever conclusions they want. I didn't take it that way, but I could see somebody looking at that and thinking, oh, he's taking a little bit of a shot there. At the end of the day, he is a competitor. I mean, he walked through the door with the mindset he's going to be the starter. He's become the starter everywhere he's been. The Browns quarterback depth chart is fascinating, Dan, and they're a week away from having to decide how many of these guys are they going to have on the 53-man roster. I think Kenny Pickett's going to be the odd man out. I think it's going to be Flacco and the two rookies competing and or entertaining all of us throughout the course of the 2025 season.
We spent a good portion of the first hour talking about how bad the Commanders' uniforms look. According to Paulie, he thinks they're the worst uniforms in the NFL. Then he gave me his bottom 5 in there. Ooh. I'll ask you, where do you sit on the Commanders' uniforms? Home uniforms.
I don't think they're that bad. No, they're worse. The Dolphins, I think, are the worst. The Dolphins-based uniforms are horrible. They should make their throwbacks their full-time uniforms. I mean, they're worried about the perception that they're soft. Those uniforms scream soft, right? You see the throwbacks? The throwbacks are badass. Like, if you want to, and you ask any NFL player, how you look is how you feel, the projection, the image, everything, the toughness, it all oozes from how you look. So I think the Commanders are fine. The Dolphins are horrible. And don't get me started on the Nike-fication of the NFL with all the alternate. Look, I will gladly say get off my lawn. I want to be able to turn on an NFL game and know right away who's playing. I don't want to have to sift through throwbacks and alternate uniforms and what are they wearing this week. That drives me crazy, and it's all Nike's fault.
Talking to Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk Live. You can see that show at Precedes Hours on Peacock. He also contributes to NBC Football Night in America. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the Rams with Matthew Stafford, because every time Sean McVay gets in front of the media, he says the same thing but uses different words. Here is Sean McVay talking about Matthew Stafford.
It was good to be able to have Matthew out there. He did a good job today. I thought he looked good, but I don't really have any updates. I think there was a lot of intended information, but there's no updates. We're going to keep it a day and really a week at a time. But we'll see how this afternoon goes and tomorrow.
Okay, Mike. What's going on here?
The key is when he says a week at a time. They're still concerned that this back problem isn't resolved. The goal was to give him a long runway between when he had the epidural in June and when he started throwing and practicing. And the idea was when he comes back, he's fine. It's not an issue. It's over. It's calmed down. He can go play 17 games without it acting up. That didn't fly. He threw 68 passes on Saturday last. He was supposed to practice the following Monday, and all of a sudden he doesn't. And for Matthew Stafford, that's a big deal because this guy's tough as nails. He's John Wayne. He's going to fight through anything, any pain, any discomfort, he doesn't care. And so the fact that he practiced yesterday, it's all very tentative. He said, McVay, said, we'll see how the afternoon goes. Like, they're constantly going to be watching him. How's he reacting to every workout, every practice, every game, every throw? And I think this is going to hover over them into the regular season. And then he's going to start getting hit during games. It's not going to get any better. So I think they need to feel very good about their backups. It's Jimmy Garoppolo and Stetson Bennett. And we may see Garoppolo play at some point in the regular season because this just doesn't feel like it's sustainable for 17 regular season games.
Well, I thought the tell was that Garoppolo didn't play at all this last game, that Stetson Bennett played every single play as if Sean McVay is saying, I can't have you out there and risk you getting injured when I have Matthew Stafford who might not be ready to go. So they sent Stetson Bennett out there to throw 40 passes.
They went through this last year. They had to be sure Stetson Bennett was ready to back up Matthew Stafford for the first 2 games of the season because Garoppolo was suspended. So they had to trust Bennett, and they have to have Bennett ready in the event that he's the number 2 to Garoppolo. And I think they'll keep Garoppolo in bubble wrap in the event that they've got to play him week 1. It'll probably be Stetson Bennett and Dresser win this weekend in the preseason finale, and they just got to hope for the best. I mean, Stafford is one of the toughest guys that I've seen in years in the NFL, and he doesn't complain. I think he's had injuries nobody knows about, not even his wife. He just shuts up and he goes. But this is one. I mean, back issues. I mean, once that thing grabs you, it changes you, and it's not easy. And I don't know how many Toradol shots you can take to overcome it, but I think it's just going to be a day-to-day, week-to-week thing. And right now, I don't feel confident one way or the other he's going to be good to go week 1. I don't think anybody knows if he's going to be good to go week 1.
Who's more Hall of Famey? We had this 2 weeks ago. Matthew Stafford or Russell Wilson Jr. the third?
Oh, without question, Stafford. Without question. I mean, Wilson has slipped the past few years. And I remember when Eli Manning was in the final years of his career, Shereen Williams, who works with us at PFT and is one of the Hall of Fame voters, she expressed the concern to me that if Eli hangs around like this, he's going to undermine his case. Russell Wilson has undermined his case the past few years. Remember, Kurt Warner had that, and then he sprang back to the Super Bowl with the Cardinals. I mean, Russell Wilson is going to make it harder for him to get in the longer he plays, and he's a shadow of what he was when he was at his best. I think Stafford is that guy. You know, his numbers are incredible. He's higher and higher on the all-time list, and he's just kind of – I think it's because of his time in Detroit, Dan. We just never really noticed him. But he's been one of the greats, and he hasn't had that dip, and he's got the Super Bowl win, and he's still going strong at 37.
What if we reversed their career? So Stafford wins early and then doesn't do anything, whereas Russ doesn't do anything and then all of a sudden is in 8 or 9 Pro Bowls. He goes to 2 Super Bowls. He wins. Like, have you ever looked at if we reversed careers, how we would look at some of these players?
Oh, I think it's always better to finish strong. But when you say not do anything, even when Stafford was losing, he was great. Wilson has been statistically not great, and just the eyeball test. He's not the guy that he used to be. Stafford's always been.
But he's got 10 Pro Bowls, Mike. He's got 10. Stafford's got 2.
Well,
Russ has better stats.
Yeah. Now, look at the career numbers, though. Look at the career numbers. Stafford is inching higher and higher on the all-time list. I hear what you're saying. I just think that it's gone so badly since Russell Wilson was traded to the Broncos, and this is what he wanted. He wanted it to be all about him. He wanted to let Russ cook. And what happened from the moment he got to Denver, the career has gone off the rails. And, yeah, last year in Pittsburgh there were moments, but, boy, it fell apart down the stretch. And who knows? Hey, he still throws a beautiful deep ball. That pass he threw, the Steelers wouldn't let him throw down the middle of the field last year. They thought he was too short to throw down the middle of the field. Beautiful 80-yard pass down the middle of the field. He still can do it. The question is, when it starts to fall apart, can he get away from pressure? He used to be able to do it, and now he can't.
He's Mike Florio, and once again, his book is definitely not about the NFL.
Thank you.
It's a novel. It's called Big Shield, and it debuts today on Amazon, a tale of gambling, the mob, and pro football. Once again, definitely not about the NFL.
You can be a witness when they sue me.
Thank you, Mike.
See you, Dan.
That's Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk Live. You can see that show with Chris Sims prior to this one on Peacock. We take a break. He is the director and producer of a new documentary that drops today. It's about the Dallas Cowboys. We'll come back with that after